Have you ever felt a random itch somewhere on your body and simply assumed it was nothing serious? It's something most of us have done, brushing it off, thinking it's just dry skin, the heat, or maybe a new soap. But here's the reality. Not every itch is harmless. Sometimes that little sensation is your body's way of quietly sounding the alarm, trying to tell you that something inside isn't quite right. Many people ignore these subtle signs until they've developed into chronic conditions that are much harder to manage. That's why in this video, we're going to take a closer look at 3 specific areas of the body where persistent itching could point to deeper health issues, ranging from liver dysfunction to heart problems or metabolic imbalances. Your skin might be doing more than just reacting to the environment. It might be warning you before anything else does, so don't look away. Stick with us because what you'll learn today could help you better understand your body and maybe even help someone close to you catch something before it becomes serious. If any part of this feels familiar, if you've had that strange itch that just won't go away, take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. It's a small action that helps us reach others who might need this information too. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This channel is here to bring you trustworthy, practical health content that can make a real difference in your everyday life. And while you're here, we'd love to hear from you. How old are you and what country are you watching from? Drop a comment below. Your experience might inspire someone else to pay closer attention to their own symptoms. We read every message, and your story helps shape the content we create. Let's take a deeper look at a symptom many underestimate: itching, also known in medical terms as pruritus. Now, you might think of it as something superficial, something caused by dust, dry air, or soap that's too strong. And yes, it often is. But in many cases, itching is actually a complex reaction that involves both your nervous system and your immune system. In other words, it's not just your skin reacting to the outside world. Sometimes it's your organs crying out for help from within. When your liver isn't functioning properly and can't filter toxins as efficiently as it should, certain waste substances begin to build up in your bloodstream. One of the first ways this imbalance shows itself through your skin, specifically as a deep, stubborn itch that doesn't go away easily. The same happens with kidney issues and diseases like diabetes. When blood sugar remains elevated over time, it dries out the skin and damages its natural defense barrier, making it far more prone to irritation, cracking, and constant itching. As we age, this vulnerability becomes even more noticeable. Our skin gets thinner, loses its elasticity, and no longer regenerates as quickly. So an itch that would have gone away within minutes when you were younger might now stick around for days or even weeks. That's when it becomes important not to ignore what your body is trying to communicate. If that itch keeps coming back or gets more intense without any obvious cause, it might not be just skin deep. It might be something internal demanding your attention. Now that you're aware of how serious an itch can be, let's go deeper and start with the first warning area: the upper back and the back of the neck. These spots are often neglected, but they can be the first places where the body signals that something is off. You may have felt an uncomfortable itch between your shoulder blades or just below your hairline and dismissed it as a reaction to heat or sweat. That's not always wrong, but it's also not always right. When we sit for long periods, especially in front of screens or while under stress, tension builds in the neck and shoulders. This tension can reduce blood flow to the area, creating tiny inflammations that the brain perceives as itching. It's your body's way of saying we're not circulating properly here. But poor posture or stress isn't the only factor. Sometimes issues like thyroid dysfunction or elevated blood pressure, especially when undiagnosed, can create a constant sensation of burning or itching in that region of the body. Let's look at a real case. Anna, a 72-year-old woman, started experiencing this sort of itch every time she sat down to watch television. At first, she believed it was just a heat rash or a mild allergy, but when she finally consulted her doctor, she discovered that her blood pressure was dangerously high. Once she began managing it with medication and small lifestyle changes, the itching that had once driven her crazy faded away almost entirely. If this sounds familiar, there are a few steps you can take. First, you should begin monitoring your blood pressure regularly, especially if you feel that itch creeping in when you're not physically active or under emotional pressure. Stretching. Your neck and shoulders daily, even for 5 minutes, can release stored tension and improve circulation in the upper body. Gentle, slow movements are often enough to bring relief. And of course, if the itching doesn't go away or continues to get worse, don't guess. Seek professional medical advice. Blood work or imaging might reveal what your skin can't show on its own. Your body doesn't generate these sensations for no reason. If a certain spot keeps bothering you, it's not a coincidence. Something deeper might be trying to make itself known. Let's move on to the second hotspot, the legs, especially the calves and ankles. When itching strikes your legs, it's easy to blame your clothing, the weather, or recent shave. But there's another explanation that too many people overlook: chronic venous insufficiency. Your leg veins are responsible for pushing blood all the way back up to the heart, working against gravity every step of the way. But if those veins start to weaken or malfunction, blood begins to pool in your lower limbs. And when that blood stagnates, it triggers swelling, discomfort, and you guessed it, itching. That evening itch you feel in your legs after a long day isn't always about being tired. It could be your veins telling you they're overwhelmed. Add diabetes to the equation, and the problem gets worse. Elevated blood sugar over time damages tiny vessels and cuts off the skin's access to nutrients. That leads to dry, fragile skin that cracks and itches relentlessly. And if you give in and scratch, you're risking wounds that can take forever to heal. Let's talk about Marcelo, a 75-year-old man living with type 2 diabetes. He noticed a few bumps forming on his ankles, assumed they were mosquito bites, and didn't think much of them. But weeks went by, and those bumps became open sores. That's when he realized this wasn't about insects. It was his body reacting to excessive sugar in the blood. Those bumps were early warning signs he had ignored, and they nearly cost him his skin health. If you're starting to notice similar symptoms, take a moment to check your legs at the end of the day. Do they feel heavy, itchy, or puffy? Try elevating them above heart level for a few minutes. It helps get the blood flowing in the right direction again. Walking regularly, even just around the house, keeps your circulation active. And if you have diabetes, managing your diet and keeping your glucose levels stable is not optional. It's essential. Healthy circulation and well-hydrated skin are your best protection. And we're not done yet. The next area we're about to cover, your palms and the soles of your feet, might surprise you. Most people ignore itching in those spots, but it could be one of the strongest signs that your liver is struggling. So stay tuned, because what comes next could be critical. Though small in size, the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet are loaded with nerve endings, making them especially sensitive to any internal disturbance. That's why when something inside your body isn't quite right, these specific areas are often among the first to react. One of the most overlooked causes behind this strange and often unbearable itching is actually your liver. Yes, your liver, the silent workhorse of your body. It's not just another organ. It's your internal filtration system, responsible for cleansing your blood of toxins, waste, and other harmful byproducts. But when the liver is stressed, swollen, or simply not working efficiently, as in cases of fatty liver disease, hepatitis, or cirrhosis, it can no longer process and eliminate toxins properly. So what does the body do? It finds another way to get rid of them. And quite often it chooses your skin. That's when the itching begins. This isn't your average surface-level itch. It can feel like a deep electrical buzz under the skin, a smoldering burn, or an itch so maddening that scratching only leads to bleeding. And for many, it's at night when this sensation hits the hardest. Just ask Teresa. At 78 years old, she started noticing dryness in her palms. She blamed it on cold weather, or perhaps the frequent hand-washing she had been doing. But the dryness quickly turned into severe itching, so intense that no amount of scratching could bring relief. When she finally went for a medical checkup, the tests showed advanced liver damage. That itching, it turns out, had been her body's first desperate signal. When it comes to liver issues, itching isn't the only symptom. You might also notice yellowing of the skin or eyes, what doctors call jaundice, fatigue that doesn't go away even after resting, a strange sense of fullness or discomfort in your abdomen, a loss of appetite that sneaks up on you. But the tricky part is, these symptoms rarely show up all at once. In many cases, the first and only clue your body gives you is that persistent itch in your hands or feet. So, what should you do if this sounds familiar? The very first step is to schedule a medical evaluation, one that includes liver function tests. A simple blood panel can reveal elevated liver enzymes and offer valuable insight into how well your liver is working. An abdominal ultrasound might also be recommended to get a more detailed look at the organ's structure and condition. Next comes the tough but necessary question. What are you putting into your body? A diet heavy in saturated fats, processed foods, or regular alcohol puts enormous strain on your liver. Replacing those foods with fresh vegetables, fruits, legumes, and healthy fats like olive oil can help your liver recover and reduce inflammation throughout your system. Physical activity, even just short daily walks, plays a key role too. It keeps your metabolism functioning and assists your liver in flushing out waste more effectively. And if you've already been diagnosed with a liver condition, now is not the time for shortcuts. Follow your doctor's treatment plan to the letter, because when it comes to liver health, early action can mean the difference between manageable and irreversible damage. This kind of itch isn't just skin deep. It can be the quiet scream of your internal organs, begging you to take notice before it's too late. The faster you act, the better your chances of healing and protecting your health. Now, stay with us because we're about to share real-life stories of people who ignored these warning signs and paid a high price. These aren't just cautionary tales. They're wake-up calls. Sometimes we fool ourselves into thinking that serious health problems only happen to other people. But the truth is, when you ignore the subtle warnings, you risk turning a small issue into something far more dangerous. That tickle, that burn, that itch you keep scratching without answers. It could be the beginning of something your body has been trying to tell you for weeks, maybe even months. Pedro, for example, was 76 when he started experiencing a strange, tingling sensation on the back of his neck, right where his head rested against the pillow. He assumed it was nothing more than stress or reaction to summer heat, maybe even the stiffness of his old mattress. He brushed it off night after night, thinking it would pass, but it didn't. The itch grew stronger, creeping deeper into his sleep and nagging at him during the day. Then one morning, while walking to the market, he suddenly collapsed on the street. When the doctors ran tests, they found dangerously high blood pressure that had been silently damaging his arteries for months. That itch, it was the first symptom, the first cry for help, and he had ignored it. Maria's story is just as sobering. She had been living with diabetes for years. At 69, she was active and believed she was doing a good job with her diet, or at least she thought she was. But diabetes has a way of sneaking up when you're not looking. I'll continue her story next. For several months, he began noticing a subtle nagging itch in his calves, most noticeable toward the end of each day. He assumed it was just dry skin, something expected with age. He didn't feel the need to check his blood sugar levels regularly. After all, he felt fine. But that itch didn't fade. Instead, it slowly developed into skin lesions that were increasingly difficult to heal. By the time he decided to visit the doctor, the damage had already set in. The diagnosis revealed advanced vascular complications, and his skin's ability to regenerate had been severely impaired. A routine checkup months earlier could have spared him a long stretch of anxiety and complex treatments. Then there's Ernesto, a soft-spoken 74-year-old man who began experiencing a strange itching sensation on the palms of his hands. He initially blamed it on washing too many dishes, or maybe using a soap that was too harsh, but the discomfort didn't go away. It worsened, gradually becoming so persistent that even moisturizing creams and home remedies no longer brought any relief. Eventually, he sought medical help. That's when the test revealed advanced fatty liver disease. Fat had been building up silently in his liver for years, and that unbearable itching was the body's way of waving a red flag. These stories aren't shared to frighten you, they're meant to wake you up. Often the body doesn't shout, it whispers, and if you ignore those whispers long enough, a scream will eventually come, usually when it's too late. In just a moment, we're going to share 7 essential recommendations, practical, actionable steps that can help protect your skin and your internal health. Simple things but powerful enough to keep a minor itch from spiraling into something much more serious. Now that you know what the warning signs are, it's time to shift the conversation to something even more important. What you can do starting today to protect your body from the inside out, because nothing beats prevention. Acting early always gives you a better shot at staying healthy and avoiding future complications. It begins with regular medical checkups. No more excuses. A full body checkup once or twice a year can completely change your health trajectory. Basic blood test can reveal hidden spikes in blood sugar, cholesterol, liver enzymes, or kidney function, all of which can show up as skin problems before anything else. Getting an abdominal ultrasound can also help catch liver or kidney issues well before symptoms become obvious. If something is brewing inside you, these tests will see it long before your skin or energy levels do. Taking care of your skin every single day is just as important. As we grow older, the skin becomes thinner and more delicate. It loses its ability to hold moisture and defend itself. Applying the right kind of moisturizer for your skin type can help maintain its elasticity and strength. It's important to stay away from harsh soaps or heavily scented products. And when drying off after a shower, pat gently instead of rubbing harshly. If you do start to feel an itch, don't scratch until you bleed. Instead, apply cold compresses or consult a professional for the right soothing product. Nutrition plays a huge role in your skin's health. Everything you eat is eventually reflected on your skin, your energy levels, and your organ function. Focusing on whole foods, bright fruits, colorful vegetables, whole grains, and good fats like olive oil or avocado can make a massive difference. At the same time, cutting back on processed food, fried items, and sugar helps relieve the burden on your liver and blood vessels. Your body will thank you. Hydration is another critical habit. Drinking water consistently helps your system flush out toxins, keeps your temperature regulated, and ensures your skin stays hydrated from the inside. Don't wait until you feel thirsty. Make it a habit to always keep a water bottle near you, especially if you live in a dry climate or take medications that dry out your skin. Staying physically active is life-giving. Just 20 to 30 minutes of daily movement, be it walking, dancing in the kitchen, or stretching in the morning, helps improve blood circulation, maintain a healthy weight, regulate blood pressure, and boost metabolism. You don't need to run marathons. Simply staying in motion is enough. And when your blood moves freely, your skin responds with vitality. Getting moderate sunlight is also essential. A little sun exposure each day helps your body produce vitamin D, which supports your bones, immune system, and mood. But prolonged exposure without protection can harm your skin, so it's best to enjoy the sun early in the morning or later in the afternoon. Use sunscreen and lightweight, breathable clothing to protect yourself while soaking in those rays. Finally, there's sleep. Restorative, deep-quality sleep is not a luxury, it's a vital biological function. During sleep, your skin repairs itself, your organs recover, and your immune system strengthens. Poor sleep weakens your defenses, raises stress levels, and contributes to illness. Try to keep a consistent bedtime, limit screen use before sleep, and create a peaceful environment in your room. You'll feel the difference in your skin, your energy, and your mood. These small daily choices, when done consistently, create a shield against many illnesses. Protecting your skin isn't just about appearance. It's about listening to what your body is saying and acting before things go too far. Often, an itch is not just an itch, it's a signal, and it may be the only warning you get. In the final segment, we'll wrap up with a direct and necessary message for anyone still brushing off these signs. Don't tune out now. You might already be thinking of that persistent itch you felt days ago, the one you tried to forget. But it's still there, quietly reminding you that something might be off. And here's the truth. Listening to your body is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's love. It's self-respect. So many people ignore these subtle signs. They convince themselves it's nothing, it'll pass, it's just age, it's just dryness. But the body never sends a signal without a reason. That itching, that discomfort, it might be the first whisper before the storm. Living attentively doesn't mean living in fear. It means living with awareness, because when you slow down and pay attention to your energy, your sensations, your skin, You give yourself a fighting chance to act before the damage is done. Taking action at the right time can make all the difference. It's what often separates a passing discomfort from a life-altering condition. Let this information be more than just words. Let it be a tool, something you use to protect yourself and the people you care about. Have you ever experienced something similar? Do you have a persistent itch that just won't go away and you're still unsure of the cause? Share your experience in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from and how old you are. You might be surprised at how your story can resonate with someone else going through the same thing. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone can bring incredible comfort. And your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and send it to someone who might need it. One small piece of insight shared at the right moment has the power to shift the direction of someone's life. That's the beauty of awareness. That's the strength of community. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. This is a space created with you in mind. You'll find practical advice, trustworthy information, and a down-to-earth approach to health and aging. Because living better isn't about being perfect. It's about being informed and intentional. Remember this above all else. Prevention is an act of love toward your own life. When you care for your skin, you're not just protecting your appearance, you're tuning into your body's signals. And when you listen, truly listen, you give yourself the power to respond in time. Thank you for staying with me through to the end. Be kind to yourself. Pay attention to what your body is trying to tell you. And until next time, stay well, stay aware, and never stop listening.